Hi, and welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly, and tonight for Tasty Tuesday, we're going to be making a one-pan spinach artichoke chicken bake. It's going to be delicious. First thing I'm going to do is turn the oven on to 375 to preheat. And then, instead of using spinach, I am going to be using some freeze-dried broccoli greens. These are the leafy part of the broccoli plant that I harvested last year. I also use the same, I also do the same thing with Brussels sprout greens as well. So I don't just harvest the Brussels sprouts off the stalk, but I actually harvest the leaves. They make a wonderful substitute for spinach in this dish, and they impart a lot of good flavor. So we really like this. I've got just a bowl of plain water here, and I'm going to dump a bunch of these broccoli leaves in. These have been freeze dried. They're going to rehydrate in just a few minutes, and I'm just going to encourage that by making sure that they get underneath the water. And they are a little bit folded up in some cases, so I'm just going to unfold them, and that way they can fully rehydrate. If you're going to be using spinach, you would take the frozen spinach and at this point, and you would drain it. While that rehydrates, I'm going to set it aside, and we're going to get to work on the chicken. I've laid down a layer of plastic wrap, and I'm going to put one chicken breast on top of the plastic wrap at a time, and then I'll put another layer of plastic wrap over the top. We're going to be pounding out chicken to about a 1/4 inch thickness. And as you can see, these are not super big chicken breasts, but we do want to pound them out to an even thickness. So, this end is much thinner than this end. And in order for it to cook properly, we're going to want it even. So I'm just laying that second layer of plastic wrap over the top. And now I'm going to take my mallet and I'm going to start on the edges of the chicken. And once we've kind of broken through that mound, then we can go across the whole chicken. And once you have even thickness from left to right, your chicken breast is ready. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to repeat that with another chicken breast. I'm going to do 4 breasts in all. You can modify this recipe to however many pieces of chicken you need. It might be 2, it might be 4, it might be 8. And again, the purpose of that is so that this is going to cook evenly. Now we've got a similar thickness all the way around. checking on our greens here. These feel fully rehydrated, so I'm going to go ahead and drain these in the sink. So just as if this was spinach. And I encourage you, if you're growing Brussels sprouts or broccoli during the summer in your garden, save the leaves. They're wonderful and they're really easy to preserve. You're just going to want to rinse them, clean them, make sure that they don't have any passengers from the garden. And then you will blanch them and then you can freeze them. Or after freezing them, you can dehydrate them or you can freeze dry them. And then you can use them in recipes. To the bowl of greens, whatever greens you have, I'm going to add 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan, a 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt of your choice. I use Redmond's real salt most of the time. A 1/2 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. A 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And 1 14-ounce can of artichoke hearts in brine, not marinated artichoke hearts. I'm going to open this and I'm going to strain it or drain it. I don't need that. That's just here to drain. And now I'm going to chop these up. I'm just doing a rough chop. And that can be to your preference as well. And now I'm just going to mix all of this together. I'm going to get a better spoon. You really just want to make sure that that cream cheese is mixed in with everything else. Now I'm going to set this aside for just a minute and we're going to get to prepping the chicken. Here's our pounded chicken, and I've got my cast iron skillet heating up on a medium-high heat. I'm going to season these pounded out chicken breasts with a little bit of salt and pepper. And again, that's to taste, however you like it. We like a lot of seasoning. These are ready to go into the pan. I'm going to add a little olive oil to it, and we're going to start frying these up, just a few minutes on each side. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. We're going to let those cook for 2 or 3 minutes on each side. After 3 minutes, I am ready to flip these. And I'm using a cast iron skillet because I can put this whole pan into the oven when we're ready to cook it, when we're ready to cook the whole dish. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, you can cook this in one pan and then transfer it to a baking dish for the next step. Another 3 minutes and we'll move on. I'm going to flip these just one more time. Now I'm going to put my spinach artichoke mixture on top of each breast. I'm actually going to turn the heat off now as well on the stove, not the oven. The oven is preheated to 375. Now I'm going to put the pan in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. It's been 20 minutes. Let's get it out of the oven. Right now I'm going to add some shredded mozzarella cheese. The recipe only calls for a 1/4 cup. I purchased in bulk, so I had cut it down into smaller pieces, so I went ahead and just shredded what I had, and I'll just put the rest back in the fridge. This is about 2 cups, but I won't use it all. Shredded cheese or shredded mozzarella cheese kind of condenses when it sits for a minute. It's not as light and fluffy as the stuff you buy pre-shredded with all the anti-caking agents on it. That looks amazing. I'm going to add just a little red pepper flake. We just like a little kick here. So a good pinch of that. Let me show you what we've got, and then we'll get it in the oven. Doesn't that look good? So this is going to go back in for 5 to 10 minutes, just until that cheese gets melty, bubbly, and just the slightest bit browned. It's been about 8 minutes. I think this is done. We're going to get it out of the oven. Doesn't that look great? It smells so good. I can smell the broccoli greens versus smelling spinach, and it reminds me of summer. Let's give this a try. It's probably still going to be a little hot. Spinach artichoke chicken with a creamy mozzarella topping. I like a little bit of heat from the red pepper flake on top, and it's really, really good. Thank you for joining me for another Tasty Tuesday. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you leave me a comment and let me know if you did and if you enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you visit again soon.